members of the Children's Parliament in Aberdeen, and we're here to try and explain what adults can do to keep us healthy and happy and safe.
We're coming to the end of our year at Children's Parliament,
where we became Imagineers and imagined our city as a place where children are healthy, happy and safe.
In this film we will be exploring what it means to have a children's rights approach at home, and school and the community.
Your rights are given to you not because you've done well or because you've done badly. They are given to you because you exist. That's simply it. You get them because you exist.
Children's rights are universal. They belong to every child in the universe.
Children's rights are inalienable. It means no one can take your rights away and they're yours.
All rights are indivisible, and indivisible means that no right is more important or less important than the other.
children's rights are human rights, and all rights are shared.
I think that some adults are afraid of children's rights.
Some adults don't understand children's rights because they think that these children should have all these privileges and like some adults will think, oh well, he's been bad, so I shouldn't be giving him this and I shouldn't be giving him that. When really, just because we've been annoying or we've been bad or we've been something like that, we should still got all these rights. The rights that you have when you're bad is the rights that we have when we're bad as well. So don't just make it all about yourself and all about your rights and oh, we've got the right to do this and we've got the right to do that. Make it about our rights as well.
It's not that difficult to have a children's rights approach. All you have to do is listen.
That's a good piece of advice, to always, another bit like, treat others how you want to be treated. So the way you talk to other adults should not be so different from the way you talk to children. Obviously, it will be a bit different. You know, you might be using very adult-like languages, you know, like very long words. So when you talk to children, try to simplify everything you say to them. And when you're talking to them, don't try to make them feel like a child, because that can be irritating and annoying sometimes. So talk to a child the way you would talk to an adult, but try to simplify your language if you can.
I think that adults should include me in any discussion that is about me or includes me, because it is about me, and if anything's going to happen to me or anything's wrong with me, I should know.
A good example of children's rights and respect would be, like, you go to the doctors, they don't just talk to your mum and ask you what's wrong with you, and then ask your dad what's wrong with you. They speak to you as well. They ask you how you're feeling, how long has this been going on, how it's making you feel, how inside you feel.
Adults should respect you, because if you don't respect them, it takes away the kid's human dignity.
Respect means to me that I am treated fairly.
Respect to me is someone going, could you please do this? Speaking in a lower toned voice, you know, just being chilled about it.
It's important for children to be respected so that they can feel better about themselves and they can be a better person and they can think more positively.
They should ask you, which is a simple thing to do. They can just say, do you want to do this? Do you not want to do this? Do you feel like this could help you? And that is something that will really help, because they get their opinion on it. And then if you both think a different thing, like maybe they think you shouldn't, you think you should, I think it's always better to like engage with them and try to find a way to compromise.
Children and adults need to have a good relationship so that you're not nervous in front of them and you can say anything to them and you can trust them. If you have a good relationship with your teacher, you can get a better learning experience and like you can be more confident in your work.
That's very good, yeah.
What we're doing is we're working on a job description for adults.
What we got? How to behave, how to look after children, respectful, kind, responsible, trustworthy, need to know to stop shouting, need to know what child's interested in.
But you don't have to take our word for it. Here are the views of the members of the Children's Parliament, past and present.
I was a member of the Children's Parliament when I was young, and I feel like I've benefited from a children's rights approach. When I was a child, I found the confidence through it to speak up for myself.
In the Children's Parliament, they listen to what you have to say because they want to see what children have to say about what they want to do.
I think it has influenced me at many points in my life, and as an adult I feel like I now know how to speak to a child and treating them as they would want to be treated.
The important thing for me about children's rights is that children actually know their rights, so if something could happen to them they could understand and say that's not right, that shouldn't be happening to me.
Sometimes adults can be quite controlling and they sort of make up their mind on what the child does, but if they've got these rights, then they know what they need, what they're entitled to.
I've learned with children's rights that it's not just about the children, although they are called children's rights, but it's about the adults too, when they've got to be fair on you, kind on you, and they've not to go too hard on you.
My message to adults is to be more positive, because sometimes we're just negative to everything that you do.
I would prefer if adults, and not just adults, but friends too, and family members felt what you're feeling and understand what you're going through.
I want to talk about human dignity.
I would like to think about trust.
I want to talk about kindness, and to me kindness means showing respect, helping someone if they're stuck, giving them a hand if they've fallen over.
I want to talk about empathy because it's really important and it helps you see other perspectives.
One of your things that take away your dignity is being shouted at, because it makes you a little bit sad. You react really badly. You sometimes say things you don't mean.
It was just the worst feeling, I think, is to be berated by a teacher for doing something wrong and then not understanding why it was wrong. So I definitely take on board, I have kids who misbehave, I have kids who break rules, however, it's about helping them to understand what they've done wrong and then teaching them and educating them, and that just happens through a conversation like you and I are having just now, not through shouting, not through making them feel little and small, but through making them see the wrongs of their ways and how they can improve and make things better. So I became a member of the Children's Parliament in Primary 7. I remember really vividly being part of shaping the way our local authority was building a new park, and for us at the time that was a really exciting thing for children and young people to be able to do. At the time it was adults that made these decisions, but for us we were part of that and we got to express our views, and to then see that put into a bit of practice was a really great experience. So I am a teacher now, and I am every day in my practice I am using my experiences from the Children's Parliament to give pupils their own personalisation and choice in the work that they do, and I think it's really important because it's helping me develop more positive relationships with the kids. And had I not had the experiences of the Children's Parliament, I don't think I'd be able to do that. I think the kids appreciate being listened to, and they appreciate having the opportunity to express their thoughts and feelings and ideas. And for me, it's a really worthwhile exercise because the whole ethos of the Children's Parliament is actually sort of transferring into my classroom practice as a teacher.
This year at the second national sitting of the Children's Parliament, adults and children came together to explore children's views and experiences of sport like
Rugby, football, tennis, basketball, baseball, netball, volleyball, badminton. How was the tennis?
I had the privilege to be at the Children's Parliament sitting in Stirling in 2016.
Although it was a sitting, the adults were to find out.
At this sitting there was very lot of sitting involved.
I think adults took away the fact that pretty much universally there was no child there that didn't describe them feeling better for having access to this stuff, or at least having the opportunity to do something active, participatory, and it made them all feel great. And there's something in that about what do we need to do as adults to make that happen a bit more? Just as a parent, as a teacher, as a doctor, as someone that might help organise some stuff. And I think a lot of adults went away from that thinking, are we doing enough? Are we doing enough around this?
I think sometimes adults make assumptions about, for example, maybe if you're a girl and maybe there's something about computing and a lot of people assume that girls can't do that, and it's the same with boys. For example, designing things. Sometimes teachers or other adults can assume that boys wouldn't want to do that. When people assume things, boys think, well, I'm not meant to do that, or girls think, well, I'm not supposed to do that, so I'll just do this.
We make a lot of assumptions that actually we just need to go and ask the right questions to the right people and really value the answers. It's that coming back to that thing, which is there's no point in asking if you're not going to do something different on the basis of the answer.
When I tell an adult something, I want them to try and fix the problem and make things easier for me.
The thing that bothers me most about adults is that they're always on their phone.
Phones are kind of a problem with sports because if you're playing football and your mum's supposed to be there watching but she's just sat on her phone, you're thinking that she doesn't care.
If you make a really good goal or if you score a really good shot or something and they're not watching you, kind of feel a bit sad though.
I think the first step is, for that moment, you have to make them the centre of your universe. So no other distractions, no eye on one thing, eye on another. You make them the centre of your world. It's actually like you would in a really meaningful conversation with someone else as an adult. So I work as a doctor. I make a rule that for the first few minutes of every consultation, I make sure that that patient feels like they're the centre of my universe.
Normally when an adult's listening to you, it's normally easy to tell because they'll be looking at you and eye contact and really taking in what you're saying.
But also listen with intent. Listen in a way that makes them feel, you know what, I am something here. I am a person. This person is listening to me.
Well, I think it's important to be listened to because that means you can have a better relation with an adult and that means like they can get more connections.
If there's no relationship between you and an adult, then you don't build trust.
Positive relationships between adults and children is crucial to taking forward a rights-based approach. If we are expecting children to sit down with us and help us think about how we do things, how will they do that unless they trust us? So they need to trust us that we'll listen, they need to trust us that we'll hear what they're going to say, that we'll believe what they're going to say, and that we'll do something about it.
Sometimes if you say something, adults don't believe you, and that's making me feel like sad, and they're not being kind and stuff. And that's when sometimes they don't trust me, and I don't really trust them if they're not trusting me.
If you tell an adult there's a problem and they don't trust you, it means you have nobody.
It's a nice feeling when people like trust you, or you trust them, because you don't really have to worry about anything, and you know that it'll get solved or anything.
I work in public health, and part of what I do is look at health and well-being of children and young people. And I think that if we start with children's rights, the other stuff will fall into place. Because if we want to learn about children's lives in order to make them better, the people who know best about that are children. It can sometimes feel a wee bit scary going into a room full of children to talk to them about something. But if we just sit on the floor, sit down with the kids, have a chat about something that's important to them, we'll hear what their experiences are and we'll learn from them. And likewise, they'll be able to hear from us. So I think as adults we miss out a lot because we don't have those conversations with children. We talk about what we do for children, we don't necessarily talk about what we do with children. And if we give more adults the opportunity to sit down in a safe space with kids where they can just listen and chat about things, actually I think it'd be one of their best days at work.
The relationships I have with my pupils are totally teacher-pupil. However, it's not strict. It's not. I'm not shouting at kids. I'm not having that confrontational relationship with kids. I'm having relationships with kids that are based on a good understanding of what they need and what they want. They understand from me what I need and want, and it's a sort of two-way dialogue. And I think a lot of my colleagues see that as a different approach. They might not recognise what I'm doing, however, they definitely comment on the relationships that I have with the kids as being something different and positively different.
All of the things that the children have mentioned are featured in the Common Core framework. It's a framework produced by the Scottish Government. It describes the skills, knowledge, understanding and values that everybody who works with children and young people should have. I guess if I get to give a message to everybody that's working with children and young people, I would say, you've nothing to be frightened of here. Take on board a children's rights approach and have a go. Go speak to kids, create a safe space and have a conversation.
What do children's rights mean to us as professionals? To be honest, they can sometimes provoke a bit of fear, a bit of misunderstanding. It's a bit like when you mention human rights. We're going to take a human rights approach to this, or we're going to take a human rights approach to that. What does that mean? Is it bound up in really complicated legislation? Are there things that we'll get chastised for not doing? The simple answer is, it's none of those things. This is about valuing each other. It's about creating sustainable solutions for us as individuals, as well as for our systems, and for maximising what are the fabulous opportunities in this fantastic small country we call Scotland.
We're here today to meet with NHS Grampian to share our ideas. They need to be more jokey with us. Yeah, so like if we're having a joke with him, some adults will take it seriously. Yeah, have a sense of humour.
I think some adults are frightened because they think that if they adopt a rights-based approach, that they're giving up all of their rights and all of their power, where in fact they're not. So trying to get adults to see that taking a rights-based approach is part of the work we do around prevention and early intervention, and to embed that within our education system would be one of the best things we could do for children in Scotland.
This is the blossom tree and we are the blossom.
The roots of the tree are all the policies and laws from the government.
The trunk is what the government expects adults to do for children.
The leaves on the tree are what the adults already do to keep us healthy, happy and safe.
And the blossoms are what we feel when the adults do all these things for us.
This is the blossom tree and we are the blossom. If adults do what they should do, we'll blossom.